What I'm bringing light to right now is this. And why outside of all of these neo-structures, neo-modern, or we could say old world still, but neo-modern structures, because they are not the same as the megalithic temples, but they often contain always obelisks, right? Like even the Washington Monument, they all have the obelisk out there. So what is an obelisk? Let me show you. What is encoded in the obelisk? The obelisk. They're tall, four-sided, narrow, tapering monuments that end in a pyramid-like shape at the top. They're known to incorporate several geometric and mathematical principles in their design. Check. 1. The obelisk is a monolithic four-sided pillar that tapers gradually from its base to its top, ending in a pyramidion. A small pyramid at the top of the apex. The four sides of the obelisk are typically trapezoidal in shape. Got it. The proportions. The obelisks are often designed with specific proportions. The height of the obelisk is usually about 10 times the width at its base. Okay? And I'm going to stop here just so you understand. There's an encoding happening here for a reason, and that reason may not be as obvious, but it is encoded within its general use as a sundial, okay? And it's because it was known in order to create a space and a time, you needed something that could record both of those. So it's like, if we land, if we're going to create time and space as something physical would understand time and space, we only need to bring something in that records time and space through its principles. So it's like the sheer presence of certain temples give you time and space because they're already marking time and space. It's the thing that we discovered with even the popes, when they wanted to take claim over lands, including the air, they created things that can mark out the space and the time in those domains. So we even got it down to if you wanted to like basically create your own domain in reality, you only needed to look no further than a 3D printed sundial technically on your own property. And for it to record the space and the time once you marked the corners of the property, the north, the east, the south, the west of the property, and then the sundial is placed. Because what is this doing? Okay, what it's doing is it's now equating the 10 base time unit, which is the cubit. So basically, the same reason why it's $5, $10, $15, $20, and generally all the denominations in the reality are by 10 in that base 10. This proportion gives the obelisk its characteristics of the slender and tall appearance, which is actually how humans are. They're the slender and the tall ones. They have the golden ratio. Some obelisks are designed to incorporate the golden ratio, approximately 1.618 in their proportions. This means that the ratio of the height of the obelisk is to the width of the base, close to the the base is close to the golden ratio. So that pyramidion on the top, as it says here, the pyramidion on the top of the obelisk is a small pyramid that caps the monument, but the angles and the proportions of the pyramidion are designed to match the overall proportions of the obelisk, just like the human body. So all of the power that the obelisk can pull from its base, it puts into the pyramidion in its top. That top becoming a very concentrated point, an opening, a portal. It's like an electrostatic portal because the obelisk is simply placed on a ley line. As we've discovered that the skin, and we got to put this into the bill too, because, you know, all of this was kind of some of this was a collective of previous bills just over the last 2 weeks, but it must be imperative for everybody to understand that, okay, if the human body is the earth, microcosm, macrocosm, the skin is the surface of the earth, okay? So let's pull all the skin off of a human body and then wrap it around the earth, okay? what we would get then is the awareness that one, there are latitudinal and longitudinal lines running across the body. We call those the meridians, right? And then that there's specific points on the body that are nodes, portals, if you may, to specific areas of the regions of the body. Earth has those too. This means Earth has real gateways, whether it's the Temple of Uluru and all the other chakra points to Mount Shasta. If that's correct, then that's correct. But that's where the knowledge comes from, that we have these openings, so does Earth. So you could find them. There's every single orifice that you have in your body, there's a part on Earth that corresponds to that. Then it also laid out that then the body, again, having latitudinal and longitudinal lines, that those are really ley lines. And that ley lines have up shoots and down shoots, meaning an area where stuff is blowing out. So if you were there, you would be getting filled with whatever kind of energy is present in that sector. Just like inside of your body, the spleen doesn't do the same thing as the liver does. The brain synthesizes, certain parts of the brain synthesizes certain liquids and fuels. So all these things do stuff different. So when you went to that specific place on the planet or on your body, that element would be emitting from that area. Okay, so you have these latitudinal, longitudinal, or ley lines, and that these ley lines had upshoots and downshoots, and that there was horizontal and vertical crossings on the vector. So when a line goes horizontal and then vertical and they connect in that cross point or that vector is the generation of life, i.e. a portal. So wherever two opposing forces, which is what the whole thing about the Mount of Harmon was about and why many of these entities were opposites from each other, it was to create the same thing that you see on a piano, where there are two different keys that are opposite from each other on the piano. But the pianist, the orchestrator, knows how to make all these keys blend together so that it actually makes really great sounds and tones. So frequencies that will otherwise clash, if not played properly by a skilled orator or whatever you want to give them the term of, because that's really more of like what a magus or a magician or anybody is that they know how to blend the conflictive components to working together to actually creating something beautiful. You get it? So every time someone's always like talking about what the bad one is, it just means that they don't really understand how that gets mixed into the good one and how it actually starts creating a balance and a harmonic tone. You see what I mean? And then that the skills truly that you're looking to inherit here while in this space and this time is the ability to do just that internally. And that it doesn't matter if everything else around you is not doing it or is doing it. You would still need to figure out how to do it yourself. But if the reality is constantly throwing you into all this diversity and can't really connect all this stuff and show you how it all really harmonizes together and takes you through even the story of when someone distorted, hijacked it, and then tried to use it for their own means, and then it loses its meaning.